Alright, what is going on? It's DIASIS again, okay? And this is more JASIS TV. We just got done talking about AJ's 300ZX, and here's my Maxima again. Like I said, I told you guys a little bit about this. But now, we're going to talk about something very special. And if you are in a JASIS, then you need to know about this car. This is a Conquest TSI. See those decals on the back? It says Conquest TSI, imported for Chrysler. It is also known as, and more officially known as, a Mitsubishi Starion. So AJ,
well,
tell the people a little bit about this car, because people,
of all,
yeah.
Welcome friends. I'm glad you're taking an interest in JASIS. I'd like to introduce my Conquest here. It's a 1987 model. It's actually also known as
Let's go ahead and film this.
SHP.
SHP means it has 8-way adjustable suspension.
Which stands for the Sport Handling Package, sitting on 8-inch wheels in the front, 9s in the rear. Like I said, as DIASIS noted, fully independent, fully adjustable suspension. Not much to say about the car as far as body, suspension, steering, handling goes. Aside from it was ranked number 1 in the top 4 in the 1988 test.
Right.
This one right here has got a balance, working on getting the balance shaft elimination kit in there. It's got a Magna M7 head. Factory, they came stock with about 190 horsepower. This one's sitting at about 330 at the crank, about 290 at the wheels.
Okay.
The only thing that you really need to pay attention on these cars is, first off, if you're going to ride one around, you got to have a blow-off valve on it. If you don't have a blow-off valve on it, turbo back spools, causes metal contamination, and it's basically the easiest way to kill the engine on it.
Okay.
The second thing is remove the balance shafts on it. Balance shafts, the upper is the first one that clogs up, the oil access hole on it. If you don't replace them, bearings go out on it, start knocking, metal contamination. Again, another issue that we need to address.
Cool. Yep, this guy knows a lot about Mitsubishi. And it's cool because if you're in a JASIS and you have a Mitsubishi, you definitely need to know people because they don't run as good as all the other Japanese cars. A lot of them can be problematic. So this is the inside. Most of these were leather. It's really cool. Everyone I've ever seen had climate control, AC, and just really cool features for back in the day, man. They were ahead of their time. They were really top of the line. I mean, when's the last time you saw a car, even today, with 8-way adjustable suspension? This thing handles like a dream. I've driven a lot of cars. I've driven all kinds of cars, actually. All kinds. You name it, I've driven it. This is one of the best handling cars I've ever driven. This thing hugs the road. It handles beautiful. And now we're looking under the hood.
Let's see, basically back in the late 90s, or the late 80s rather.
Okay.
Japanese was definitely at their most competitive state. Mitsubishi basically thoroughly thought out the platform for the car, but made a last decision on the engine. First off, came with a 2-liter, found out that it didn't produce enough torque. It wasn't quite sufficient for what the body, the weight specifications of the vehicle demanded. They wanted something with a little bit more oomph to it.
Okay.
So they upgraded to the 2.6, which probably has one of the higher limits of displacement for a 4-cylinder even today. Basically, what you're looking at now is basically it's got the fully machine head, Magna M7 stretch relief, things of that nature. It's got your Mookie blow-off valve on it. Upgraded to 1000cc injector. And so you got the Hack 2G mass over here, and I got 3-inch exhaust going all the way back with a gutted cat running on about 13.5 psi. Tuned by B&B, set at 291 to the rear wheels.
NGK wires, of course.
That's basically what we're looking at. They made a last-minute decision on the engine, which I think was an abomination to Mitsubishi in general, but typically you do the few miles that are necessary to get them running right, get rid of that pipe that goes through there without the blow-off valve on it. You got to have a blow-off valve, and then get rid of those balance shaft elimination kits, and you'll see one with more than 100,000 miles on it. You'll see one with more than 200,000 miles on it. Those are the main two killers of these engines. Other than that, decently reliable cars as long as you keep your foot out of it long enough and don't get too happy with the boost.
Good. Yeah, this is something that a lot of people need to know, because if you have one of these cars, you're probably having all kinds of problems with it, and you're saying, well, man, what the heck do I do next? Well, that's what this network JASIS.com's for. That's what we're all about, keeping them on the road. Tell them about the transmission. What do you know about the transmissions of these?
The transmission, basically 86, or let's just say from 87 and down, they shared a lot of the same components as the Mitsubishi Mighty Max truck transmission.
Okay.
Which basically, like I said, the power plant was basically thrown together to meet the demands of the race. The competition that they had back in the late 80s with the other, with Toyota and Nissan. And so in '88, they actually crafted what's called what we nicknamed the waffle train, which is a webcasted design, sustainable up to about 450 horsepower without having any type of internals reworked or cryogenically frozen or anything like that. That rear ends maybe hold to about 400. So unless you really plan on investing a lot of money into these, getting them basically smoke just about anything else on the road, you want to keep it drivable, fairly efficient on fuel. I would definitely stay in around the 300 horsepower range on it, because that's basically where they run at their optimum.
And you said this thing isn't bad on the gas mileage either, as long as it's not cranked up too much, right?
Right.
Boost-wise.
Before it was properly tuned, where the fuel was remapped, or where that 1000cc injector wasn't just dumping fuel into it. Now I'm seeing values around maybe 25, 26, and that's on the highway. Still getting maybe around 20 in town, so it's not too substantial of an increase, but definitely still pretty good.
It's not bad. That's not bad. Well, let me see. Have we been through everything on this? I can't think of anything else we need to name. Anything else we need to talk about? No, I think that about covers it. It's got 2 injectors. How about that, huh? Very strange. It's a 2.6. The curb weight of this car. How much is the curb weight on this car?
3,069.
3,069 pounds, 2.6 liter 4-cylinder, single overhead cam. Kind of neat. That's a big 4-cylinder. It's got a lot of torque. A lot of people like to put, what's that engine they like to put in it?
The 4G, which is basically the 2-liter that Mitsubishi developed whenever they launched the Eclipse project, whenever they were sharing DSM with Chrysler.
Right.
This engine right here has actually an 8-valve head, which is, from what my understanding, a flagship design from Australia and in Europe. They basically eliminated the jet valves on it, which had a high tendency of blowing open due to excessive boost, compression, things of that nature, and basically caused the engine to lean out, below head gaskets, things of that nature too.
Okay.
Another thing that I would take care of is, if you do plan on running the factory head on it, go with the ARP head stud kit and the Titan ICF's copper self-sealing head gasket. Those are 2 things that are definitely a must, especially if you're going to be running more than 8 to 10 pounds.
All right. Well, cool. Well, I think we about covered everything on this. Like I said,
basically, if you folks have any interest or any questions about it, feel free to email us. Visit our webpage, DIASISS.com. Start you up an account. We'll get you as much information as you can. Part availability on these is on the rise. StarQuest Forum and a couple other providers, such as KDM, things like that, they're starting to have an increase in aftermarket performance parts for this car as well.
Which is good, because these parts were pretty rare for a while. But now we got aftermarket companies that are starting to finally make parts. Same with the muscle cars, I'm sure. A lot of the muscle car, people today, they get a lot of aftermarket parts because people make them nowadays. Whereas back then, maybe they didn't. Well, they're starting to do the same thing for a lot of JASICs, which, like we said before, are Japanese classics. And this is definitely a Japanese classic. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Thanks for checking us out. Please check out our website, www.jasix.com. And we'll see you later on JASIC TV. Peace.